used to think girls didn't want to play ball, but what I realized is maybe they didn't have a girl call them to come play ball with them, and I'll take it easy on them.
Welcome to this game of legends. On this episode, we will be discussing women's competition and legal issues in sports.
Yes, another episode of this game of legends, and I have with me here the presence of Omolade Omolaolu, who's a lawyer and she plays football as well. So welcome. It's an honor to have you here, Omolade.
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you for having me.
Yes, fantastic. So you're a lawyer. In Nigeria, we know we have a fair share of legal issues. Right. So before we dive deep into sports and law in Nigeria, last time we were talking, you mentioned about some football tournaments for women. It's been existing for a long time for men, but recently it's been the platform for women has been created, which you're part of as a footballer, and I believe as a captain or a coach as well.
Captain.
Okay. So please, I think that might be a good place to start. So just give us a background information on how you were able to, starting from breaking out a women's competition out of the male-dominated sports and trying to move forward with the team as well. And your visions, of course, personally and for the team.
All right. So for me, I think one thing I've learned in this short journey is that representation matters. If you don't put yourself out there, you won't know the number of people you can inspire, really. So how it started for me was last year. So the league is called the Abuja Lawyers League. It was organized last year, and a friend of mine told me that, Vicky, we are creating a team for guys, if you know any guy, something like that. I can't remember what brought up the conversation. So I was like, oh, you have a team. You're my guy now. Add me to your team now. I want to play some ball now, please. Because then there was no female arm of the tournament. So he said, friend, sure, we'll add you. That's another thing, having guys support girls, doing things like that. So he added me to his group, and then I got to play. When I was on the pitch, people were like, I see this girl. She wants to play with guys. And I was like, well, I'm just here for fun. I just want to play some game. And unknown to me, in the background, we're actually planning for a female competition, just a one-off match. So when they saw me play with the guys, they were like, oh no, we have to get this girl. I didn't know. I just got a call from somebody saying, Vicky, they wanted to play with them, blah, blah, blah. I think the name of the team then was Queen Slayers. So I joined the team and it was fun. Then they told us about the NBA conference coming up, how they would love to also start a female competition as well. So I said, cool, I'm here. And then over time, they made me captain, because I think I'm quite good. I try my best. So apart from that, it's also sportsmanship is not just about your skills. It's about your people's skills as well. How do you communicate with people? Do they like playing? Should you play with others? Like the team sport kind of thing. So I was made captain. And when our first outing, we went to Lagos, we didn't win actually. But then we came back fired up because we enjoyed what we did and we said we can do better. So our coach told us that the upcoming Abuja Lawyers League, that's the one coming up now. It's already started. That they'll create a female arm of the competition. So what she did was to split us into groups, and now I have my own group. Our name is Lex Gemma FC. So we'll be playing on Saturday. I got a coach. We've been training, and we hope to win because all the girls do their games. We're hoping we win, and then we go top of the league. So it's been exciting, and even scouting for girls, getting people to play with me was something else. It's another different journey because you speak to girls, not normally you think girls want to play football and things. So you see them eager, oh yes, let's do this, let's do that. And I've been blessed with awesome teammates. They come, they pay, we play, and it's been fun. So we're just hoping that all our hard work will translate into wonderful results on Saturday. And we're all lawyers. We're all lawyers.
Okay. Something else which you mentioned. So while you were recruiting or looking for women to join or to be part of it, what challenges did you face? Because I know in Nigeria, there's still a lot of issues when it comes to marginalization of females in sports, which that's still an ongoing issue.
I used to think girls didn't want to play ball, but what I realized is maybe they didn't have a girl call them to come play ball with them. And I'll take it easy on them. Okay, I don't know how to play this. Where they feel free, where they feel like I'm going to learn here, I'm going to grow, she's not going to judge me. If I kick the ball anyhow, she's not going to say, get out of my team, like a nurturing and encouraging environment. So I feel when I reached out to most of them, they were willing. Some of them even brought their friends along. I was surprised. Lawyers as well. And some of them said it's a good avenue to meet people, to exercise, to get better at something. So I think that's the experience for me that, when we do this man, woman, women don't do this, men don't do this. No, sometimes it's about representation. If a woman goes to meet a woman and say, oh, I want you to be part of this, I think she'll be more willing to do that than if she's in the midst of boys. Oh, I got a very good reception from most people. And the only excuse I've gotten so far, maybe those that don't show up is because of work. Maybe they're working late. It's not because, oh, I got injured, my leg is paining me, I can't come again. No. Some of them have ankle pain, leg pain, body pain, and they still show up. So yeah, it's been encouraging.
All right. In terms of getting a female to contact other females to be involved as opposed to the men trying to contact them, there's this huge issue going on now in the sports industry of gender pay gap. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I've read about it.
Female athletes wanting equal pay, just like their male counterparts. Now, what are your thoughts about that?
I don't think we should compete across the board. You can have equality across the board. There are things women will naturally do better than men. There are things men will naturally do better than women. So if you look at even the football league thing I'm talking about, the girls, we only have 6 teams, whereas the guys is about 20 plus teams.
How many players per team? So 6 teams, and how many athletes in each of the teams?
Per game, you just have 7 players on the field and 2 substitution. You can have as many players as you want, but on game day you're going to have 7, starting 7, and then 2 subs.
Okay.
So now you're seeing the girls really have 6 teams, whereas the guys, they were even tussling for space. They're over 20. There are many. So I don't think we should have those arguments. Even a girl watch herself play and watch a boy play and know that guy is more faster than them. They're more skillful. A guy who is, let's say he's fit, but he doesn't play much football, he can give me a very crazy tackle or something. He won't let me play the ball. No matter how skillful I am, I can only do so much before he knocks me out. So yes, I think we shouldn't have this comparison. This is like if you watch a lot of all this gossip TV, you find more girls there because girls we know our mouth moves really fast. Yeah,
that's interesting. I like the perspective. All right, so let's go a bit further. Let's dive deeper into the sports and the role in Nigeria. Just like every other industry in Nigeria, education, health sector, sport is also one of those areas that the shaky or the unstructured legal system we have in Nigeria affects as well. One of my thoughts about that is that we largely run systems that are archaic, primitive. Our educational system, our employment system, security agencies. First, do you think something should be done? Secondly, what do you think can be done, based on your expertise as a lawyer and your passion in sports?
I can say that, for instance, when I was younger, my dream was to play for the Super Falcons. I wanted to be a footballer. I was living, breathing football, but there was no information. I didn't know what to do. There was no clear pathway. Okay, do this, join here. Nothing. I didn't know anything. And so I just went to school and that was it till I became a lawyer. And then I heard about Abuja Leslie. Then I started training again and then we're back on form. Somebody wasn't telling me, Vicky, go pro. Now I'm still like, how do I even go pro? I don't even know how to go about that. But yeah, so I think a lot can be done about sensitization, speaking to, from primary school, speak to people about sports. They should take it really seriously. We just restrict it to PE, physical education. You just play ball, blah, 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 and that's the end. You go. Nobody follows up on you. Some schools don't take it seriously. They don't see it as something. They want you to be a lawyer, the typical stuff. So I think we can do a lot, individuals, with people. We don't necessarily for the government to enact any laws. Just sensitize people, get involved, and I think it'll get better with time. And I think it's getting better actually. People are, with the internet, information everywhere, it's getting better. And it can only get better. And also, I hear about things like corruption. You have to know this person, you have to know that person. Even to join the Super Eagles, I heard a lot of money you have to pay. Even the local league, to join maybe Nasarawa Queens or something, I don't know. You have to pay some money, you have to know somebody, because somebody was telling me about it. So we have a lot to do as a people as well, because these are individuals. Somebody is good, give her a chance. But if you don't have money, if you don't have the connections, you might not go so far.
Financially for slots within teams and tournaments, shouldn't that be illegal?
Right, it should be, but it's not. These are things that, the law is the law, and nobody will know you're breaking the law until somebody reports you. So if both of us agree to break the law, you're not going to rat me out. I won't rat you out because we're both gaining something. So that's how people get away with things like this. But then I still feel there's a place of competence and skill. So if you can hone your skills and you master people's skills, you go far because there are people like that who didn't have anything and they made it. So yeah.
When I was a lot younger, I've
Mhm.
been a victim myself. At the under 17 level, there was a national tournament that we're called up for. Apparently, forms were sold by the authorities, the coaches, the managers, and it wasn't those who were good enough to play. It wasn't the most talented that made it. It was those who had the means to purchase the form, or those who had sponsors, or those who knew someone who knew someone who knew someone up there. So if you
Yeah.
look at it, the shaky legal structure actually affects the success of sports in Nigeria, the success of our athletes on a global level.
But I think we have a long way to go because I also train as an athlete. I'm not a professional athlete, but I train with athletes and I see how a lot of them struggle, you know,
Yeah.
and a little support from the government to go a long way. I remember because I'm friends with Shure, the presidential candidate.
yeah.
So yeah, we used to go to the stadium together to train. And on this day, someone selling spikes came around, and almost all the athletes there, all these young guys, trying to run, they didn't have good spikes. You had to buy for practically almost everybody there. And these are things that the government can do because I know there's an athletic federation of Nigeria. These are things they can do to support the young ones, to train them, to guide them. You hear issues of some of them being on drugs. I'm sure if they have a better mentorship, things that can guide them on how to do the right things and, watch them progress and progress and progress till they hit the big stage. So I think we just have a lot to do in Nigeria organization wise because look at Tobi Amusan. When she was in Nigeria, I don't think if she remained here, she might not have hit that full potential.
Yeah.
She traveled and then things got better facilities and everything. So it's just we just have to work hard. And I think people in the industry also need to step up because when you get up there, how do you help those coming after you? Because sometimes it's a situation of you get up there and then you become like them. It's you want money and you've lost sight of what really matters. So, but I think a lot can be done in matter of regulations, setting up frameworks to ensure that things are done the right way. For instance, I train at the stadium. We used to go swim. Facilities it's bad. It's terrible. There's no maintenance culture. Look, we're even playing. I went to watch the match, the Nigeria Ghana match. I was there, and I saw
that
when
game.
those guys were running on the field, destroying things. Why? Like we blame the leaders, but I think we're worse than.
You see, I posted something about that event. I do not support violence. I condemn the destruction of properties, either private or public. However, my angle is, if you look at sports in Nigeria, sports is, well, I can boldly say, as an athlete myself, someone who's hugely into sports, I can boldly say that sports is the only thing in Nigeria that brings everyone together. Right? We are divided across ethnic lines, across religion, across political lines, across social class. You can go on and on. The only thing that can bring an Hausa man and a Yoruba woman and an Igbo man and a BBO, everybody together is to sit down and watch sports, participate in sports. The only thing that can bring a Muslim and a Christian together, people from different political parties, the rich, the working class, the poor, the only thing that brings us together, where we forget our differences, suddenly there's peace. Sports, right, it doesn't happen in any other aspects without, violence, without fighting. And so if you take all that into consideration, look at Nigeria now. Sport isn't just something that brings us together. It isn't just something that unites us. It isn't just something that makes us forget our sorrows or the hardship or the harsh realities we live in. It is also something that gives us hope. And if you take away that hope, then there's chaos, there's anarchy. What do I mean by hope? A man who is not eating for days, or a woman who is jobless, or kids who have been out of school because of ASU strike, across all board, the only thing, or rather one of the only things that they think about is the fact that Nigeria might participate in the World Cup, and that gives them hope. That story, the fact that our country and those who are representing us can progress. There's the opportunity to progress. That's hope there. That in as much as we are suffering, in as much as things are bad, right, we still have something to look forward to. Well, now, if you take away that which they are looking forward to, you take away their hope, there's nothing left. And then if you look at what happened on that day after the game, where there was destructions, there was violence, at the end of the day, these people have got nothing to fall back on. They've got no work the next day because they've got no jobs. They're not going back to school because ASU is on strike, or because even if ASU is on strike, the educational system is nothing to even write home about in the first place. It's because wherever they're going to, there's no hope. And if you look at them, the frustration of Nigeria losing out that day, I don't think it's because we lost out per se. It's not just about the game. It's about the reality of the people. An educated people, a free people, a liberated people, an empowered people would not do what's been done. You can also look at them and think, these people, if they've not been equipped or empowered adequately by the society, because at the end of the day, a thinking person would not think to destroy public properties at the end of the day, but they can't think because they don't have the power to think. They don't have the decision-making power to know what's wrong or right. And that is the only way to which they can vent their frustration, because they've lost hope, because Nigeria can't progress. I agree with those who condemn the actions. But at the end of the day, these people have got they've got no choice. You can't expect from a people decency when you don't provide an enabling ground for them to be decent in the first place. So, that's been my argument. What do you think about that?
I have to think deeply about your argument. I understand what you're saying. I do. And I watched the game. There was a fighting spirit in the first half, but the second half was a bit bland and dull. But then it happens with everybody, even Arsenal. Today they play well, tomorrow they don't play well.
Yeah.
It happens. And I don't think we should excuse bad behavior. It doesn't matter what's going on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how hopeless the situation is. I think every individual owes it to himself to empower himself with whatever he has. The study shows that Europe, this time in the 1900s, early 1900s, they were also living on less than $1 a day. So gradually they evolved into the society we know them to be today. So there's a process. And I think we are on track as a country towards progress. And what happened that day for me, I can't excuse it. I saw how it started because I was there. It's just this, make I try and make I just go push the post. You know mischief when you see mischief. And you know hopelessness when you see hopelessness. If it was a case of hopelessness and somebody going out there who has nothing to lose, it would have been violent. By violence, I mean people getting injured, people getting killed. Nobody got killed. They just wanted to go and play on the pitch. I saw them. After they pushed the post, they turned this way. There was nothing to turn again. They were just dancing up and down the pitch.
But isn't that testament to the shaky legal structure? Because if they knew that they would face the consequences and they'll be punished according to the law, wouldn't that prevent them from doing what they did?
You see how it happened. When the first guy, when he tried to go, somebody chased him down. I was looking at the woman because there was a spot where they were passing. The woman just be like, well, she just stepped against. All of them just started going. Even the police people left them to just be playing. So it was they permitted the behavior. If they had beaten the guy or do something, or handcuff him, just let me say beats. We live in Nigeria, we expect those things. But let's say they handcuff him and they take him out. But now they just let them in. They didn't even chase them again. So it was like the law enforcement officers permitted it. They didn't stress. They just focused on getting their players out of the pitch. You guys can do whatever it is you want to do. So I don't think it was a case of hopelessness, I'd say. And for me, generally, I don't excuse bad behavior. I don't care how hopeless you are. I don't care, how hopeless you think you are, because I don't think you're hopeless. You might think you're hopeless, but I don't think you're hopeless. So long as there's life, there's hope. And people are surviving on less than you are, and they're making every day count. So I don't excuse bad behavior wherever. Even these people that beg, I'm like, why are you begging? You see somebody with wheelchair selling at least pure water or selling something. Can't you do that? Why are you begging? So, but some people might say this is wrong. Be nice to people. You don't understand their situation. But the soul of society, the fate of society lies on the shoulder of the citizens. And if we are unable to lift our own personal weight, how then do we collectively lift the weight of a nation? So we can't just point fingers and say our leaders they have to do this. We also have to look within and say, okay, in my house, in my environment, how am I making things better? How am I contributing to society? So that's my take.
Nice, thank you. Also, to put it out there, I do not condone bad behavior. I do not, agree or accept violence in any way, shape, or form. One of the things which we try to do in my organization, our primary objective is to use sports as a tool for societal development, to map out strategies in which we can help develop people, basically, most particularly the less privileged, those who have been marginalized by the society. And one of the ways in which I have been able to use towards achieving that vision is first identifying that, look, whether we like it or not, where I come from, we'll say Ika or Dogba, like people are not equal. And there are those who have got certain privileges, who through their career have had one opportunity or the others more than those who might actually even need it more. And they are the majority. Those who have had no support, those who have been maligned, those who have been oppressed for so long, they're in the majority. How can we begin to make sure that together we have equal opportunities? How can we begin to create the awareness that together, with the person that's born in a village in the south and the person born in a big city in the north, it doesn't matter who you know, how much you have financially or materially, both persons, regardless of your social class or how much you have, can access equal opportunities. That is the Nigeria I would like to see. And we're trying in our own small ways to work towards that. So now, from my own angle, easy to think people are making it anyways, you should make it as well. But I don't think technically it works like that. Those who are making it for several reasons. Perhaps they've had a good educational background, they've had good friends and family to support them. They have the ability to research, to network, to expand their reach, their contacts. They have the knowledge to plan financially towards what they want to do with their lives. And these are things that distinguishes us on the micro level. If you look at it, it's just a few privileged in Nigeria that have that opportunity. And those who growing up have been tough, we have orphans, we have millions of out of school children in Nigeria, for instance, which is, for me, that's just a ticking time bomb. Now, how do you tell a child who is an orphan, who's running from hustle to hustle, day to day to feed? How can you begin to explain to them what right or wrong is? That's on one spectrum. On another spectrum, those who are supposed to hold or wield the decision-making powers in Nigeria are actually the ones breaking the law. Those who are supposed to be the custodians of the legal framework themselves are breaking the law, are taking advantage of these oppressed. That is on another end of the spectrum. So if you combine both school of thoughts together, you see that it's not so easy to condemn certain things. It's easy to say at the end of the day. We can condemn, it's bad, but what options have you given them? That's my thinking.
Was it the John F. Kennedy also said, don't ask what your country can do for you. You look within and see what you can do for your country. And that's the spirit of nationalism for me. For me, I'm not one to point fingers. I don't expect to see good example before I am a good example. But I understand what you're saying, because now we're talking about children. How do they learn? Where have they seen this good example? I always say that apart from the individuals, because what makes up the individual, I said the individual is the backbone of the state, of the country. Now, what makes an individual? Social studies that back then will tell you the agents of socialization. I think there were 5 major agents of socialization: the family, your peer group, religious institutions, I think media, and I forgot the last one. But all of those things play a role in forming the individual. So if you have a faulty religious institution, things are going to go bad. Now you go to church, people are looking for quick miracles. Pastors are not even exemplary. Pastors are you sleep with all the members of your church. Like there's no good example anywhere. You go to schools. I don't think teachers discipline kids as they used to anymore. I don't know what's going on there. I don't even know what they're teaching students. So a friend of mine works with an NGO to deal with online grooming, human trafficking. So went to a school, the junior secondary school, talks to them about it. And apart from what we even spoke about, what I noticed was the kids, they were eager to hear us speak. They were eager to participate in it. Even the teachers were happy to see us. They even got us malts and drinks for coming to teach. So it shows that even the schools, they're eager for those of us who complain online, who say things are bad. They're eager for us to come around and engage the students. They're eager for us to come around and show the student that, you can be like this when you grow up. It's possible. Just exposure matters. Those things matter. So it's what are we doing for those coming behind us? It's not enough for us to say, oh, people are hopeless and da 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 da. No, it's not enough for us to do that. So even me, I'm guilty of it because I don't think I have the energy to always go to schools, talk to students. I'm not sure I have it all the time. But I'm just trying to say that all of these things matter. How the mass media, when we watch the news, what do we see? Are we getting like an objective view, or are we getting a subjective view? People telling you what they want you to know, not letting you think for yourself or make your own decision. These elections that just passed was a mess because it seemed like on social media, if you're not an obedient, then you're nothing. How does that help you think critically? How does that help you think as an individual? How does that help you form your own worldview and idea of how the world works? So the family, you see a lot of baby mamas, a lot of broken families. The guy impregnates all the girls in his neighborhood. They all have kids for him, and it's just messy all around. So we have a lot to do as individuals who know better. Maya Angelou said it. She said, now you know, you did the best you knew how you could. Now you know better, do better. So I think as society, we've grown, we have a responsibility to those coming behind us. The family, everybody needs to work hand in hand and make the country what we want it to be. We can't wait for the leaders. It starts from you, it starts from your house, from your room, I guess.
Nice. Some motivation from you, inspirational words. And you're right. I completely agree with everything you said. At the end of the day, we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to those coming behind us to act, because leaders are only as strong as the followers. And a lot of things have been weaponized in our country: poverty, uneducation, or access to education, unemployment, insecurities. These things have been weaponized, and it's difficult to. The brain works with stomach. Brain power works with stomach. Now, person we don't chop belly for go fit think now. At the end of the day.
Sometimes longer they drive to.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, you make reference of the obedience. I mean, the election is just a different story. That is another. We can dedicate like 10 episodes to that one. That is that is different. When you look at those you mentioned, these are the monsters the systems have made. They're looking for any means necessary. The next Messiah. They don't care who, how. It's the next Messiah they're looking for, and they will do anything to get.
Desperation. It's bad.
They're left with no choice. And on that note, I think we can call it an episode. Once again, thank you for honoring the invitation. Hopefully, we would have more discussions. It's just the first in more sports, and hopefully we would have more episodes. We would have discussions where we dive more in-depth conversation on what we're trying to solve or what we're trying to learn, whatever the case may be. And have you got any last word before we wrap it up?
Do I have any last word? Well, I think this is the start of something interesting. It's an awakening that is happening all over. And people are waking up to their responsibilities, seeing that they actually need to be a part of this thing for it to reflect whatever it is they want it to reflect. So I think we're on the right path. A lot of mistakes will be made and a lot of lessons will be learned. So just for us to be flexible enough to change when we need to change, bend a little, and we'll go very far, I think, as a country, as a nation.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. And on that note, let us end it now. You have a wonderful evening. Thank you for the conversation. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Enjoy your next meeting. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Also available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. To follow our journey on this mission, kindly do not forget to subscribe and check us out on social media. Until next time.